Hello, friends! I feel so tiny in the frame right now, but my camera has been acting up and disconnecting very frequently, and if I angle it any lower, it will disconnect again. So, this is what we've got. Happy first stream of the new year! It's 2025, y'all. How we feeling? How are we thinking about this new year? I am cautiously optimistic. I'm hoping it's a good one, but also 2024 was pretty rough. So I'm not gonna put all my eggs in one basket. I'm gonna take things as they come, and hopefully the good outweighs the bad. We are here to do some sprints. We're gonna do 3 honeybee timers as per usual. If you want to lurk, you can lurk. It's perfectly fine. If you want to chat, feel free to let me know what you got going on. I am going to be doing my bullet journaling stuff for the evening. I usually do that in the first sprint, and then I don't know what I'm going to do in the other sprints because I DNF'd my first book of the year today, and I'm very sad. I'm especially sad because it was an ARC that I got. I entered a Goodreads giveaway, and I won, and I got this ARC, and I'm like, yay, that's so exciting, but it just is not a good book. And looking into it, I'm pretty sure it was published using a vanity press, and a lot of the 5-star ratings on Goodreads seem to be accounts that were recently made, and this is their only book that they've rated on there. So it's a little bit fishy, and it just kind of gives me a bad taste. So we're putting that away. We're just gonna move on. Hello, Anna. Welcome. Yeah, it's sad to DNF, especially this early in the year, but it just wasn't a good book. It was like a middle grade fantasy, and it was so I don't know. There was nothing interesting about any of the stuff it was trying to do. It was all very cookie cutter, bland. And there were also a lot of errors, not just grammar and punctuation, but also continuity errors. Like in chapter 1, this teacher was the English teacher, but then in chapter 2 she was teaching earth science, and I'm like, so yeah, not the best. I'll do more research into books before I request them in Goodreads giveaways. I think that's the lesson that has come about from this. Yeah, it was it was not fun. I got to 61%, 62% just about, so I gave it a fighting chance. It was interesting. And then when I got through the midpoint and I was like, this isn't getting any better, I'm like, I can't do this. So we're moving on. I think my next read needs to be not fantasy because I'm looking at my TBR shelf. I've already read, I can show you actually what I've read because that was the 4th book that I picked up this year. So my first book was a contemporary fantasy, so it took place on our plane of existence, but there's magic and stuff. My second book was Animorphs. My third book was Shakespeare. So a good blend of things. But then this book that I just DNF'd was a portal fantasy. I have another portal fantasy and 3 high fantasies on my TBR. So I'm like, maybe I should read something that isn't fantasy next, and it'll cleanse me of the not good fantasy that I just read, and I can start off fresh with the other fantasy that I have. Because it's the other fantasy books I have, I'm super excited for, but now I'm just kind of I don't want fantasy at the moment. So I'm gonna see what my options are. Maybe a thriller or a horror. So I might do that during my sprints, is try and find a book. Yeah, 62% is a lot because it was fine for the first 30 to 40%. It wasn't bad, it just wasn't good. And then we got through the midpoint, and I'm like, that literally was not a midpoint because it didn't really do anything, I'm like, I have to pass on this. Hello, Maeve. Welcome. Just tried to do my own productivity sprints, and YouTube put me on a 24-hour hold, and StreamYard won't let me link my channel. What the heck? What's going on with that? Very rude of them, but I am glad you're here. What are you editing? Like videos and stuff? I explained how I'm just doing my bullet journaling to start, and then we'll see what I do afterwards. But I have the timer already prepped. We're doing three 44/44s. They're basically 45s. And again, I apologize if my camera cuts out at any point. It's just acting very finicky. So I might disappear at some point, but like I'm still here. My camera's just being annoying. Yeah, a couple videos recorded that need editing. Fair enough. I edited 2 vlogs yesterday, so one is actually going up tomorrow, my reading vlog, and then my writing vlog is going up next Monday. So I'm glad I've got those out of the way and I don't have to worry about them anymore. Anna's drafting, trying to get back into writing after Christmas break. Fair enough. This weekend has not been it for drafting for me, which you'll see in my writing vlog next week that I did a lot of writing the last few days. Monday to Friday I was doing like a writing challenge, and then I woke up yesterday and my brain is like, what if we didn't write at all? So ooh, exciting. I love reading journal content. I love journal content in general, but like reading journals especially are so much fun. And I especially love seeing people's journals that are a completely different style from mine because it's just crazy what people can do with their journaling. I have a lot of journals, probably way too many, but it's fine. They all have their purposes. Um yeah. I think we should get to sprinting. Oh, I do have to feed the cats at some point. I have to remember to do that. The cats get fed at 7ish, so probably towards the end of the sprint, I'll feed them. Yeah, that sounds like a good plan. I act like I don't do this every week. Yeah, we are going to get going on our first sprint. I will see you guys after these bees. Okay, friends, that was the end of our first sprint. We did lose an Anna to dinner, but she got 767 words, which is great. And then we had several friends join us. So we have JK and Madison and Cool Gamer. Welcome, friends. How's it going? What you got going on tonight? I have been doing my bullet journaling like I said I was going to do. I also did feed the cats. Oh my gosh, and we got a Wendy coming in too. So many friends joining us. I have not finished my bullet journaling for the night. I still have to do my habits and health tracker, fill that out, and also put in my measly word count for the day. I had an extra page in my setup, so I included a word count tracker since I'm drafting. Today was not great with words, but you know, they can't all be, so. And Maeve is still working on the 2025 reading goals video, then onto the reading journal video. Exciting. The last thing I did was pull my tarot card for the week. So, for those who don't know, every week as part of my start of week stuff, because this is like finishing out one week and preparing for the next week, I pull a tarot card to sort of focus my intentions for the week. And for this week, I pulled, well, first of all, I'll show you. I've been using the Affirmators tarot deck. There we go. Nice and shiny. I've been using it, I think this is my third year. Like, we're going into the third year that I've been doing this with this deck, and I just think it's so lovely. It's a very kind deck and encouraging, which is exactly the vibe that I need for my weekly intentions. This week, I pulled Death, which is exciting. Look at that guy. Look at all those beautiful flowers and this skeleton man. But I can read for you the little blurb that comes with it in the guidebook. If I can flip to the right page, it says, "This poor guy is often misunderstood, so before turning death from your doorstep, know that he usually signifies a metaphorical death, as opposed to a literal one. Phew. A major shift or rebirth is about to take place, but not until there's a final wrap on some aspect of your current situation. This may come as a relief, or be somewhat daunting, or it could be a bit of both. Either way, you can trust that this end is for your highest good and most awesome potential. After all, in order to become a butterfly, a caterpillar must first clean out his desk and turn in his parking pass." And then the little thing at the bottom, because it has like the explanation paragraph and then just a little phrase. It says, "I move on to the next phase of my life with ease, trust, and a greater respect for the courage of caterpillars." So I put that little blurb, not like the whole big thing, just the little highlighted bit at the bottom on my weekly spread, and then I also do like a little paragraph of me saying like, this is what this card means, this is how I think it applies to my life in this moment. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. Yeah, I like the death card. Honestly, I was expecting it to be the tower, and I was shuffling the cards, and I'm like, why do I feel like I'm gonna get something big? And I did get a major arcana, but it wasn't the tower. So, and where were we? Madison is time zone hopping and has got her run down. Got to be disciplined to get to sleep early tonight to recoup. I was trying to say anything on your videos, but I love that you incorporate tarot into your reading/writing. Thank you. Yeah, tarot is something that I've been doing on and off for several years. I think it was like 2017 is when I started doing tarot, like, for real, and like studying like the card meanings and the history behind tarot and stuff. And I always do my weekly pulls And I do at the beginning of the year. I can show you in my tarot journal that has been very underused. I do a big spread. So you can see it's a 25 card spread. I've been doing that for a few years. I got that from Jess over at the Hex Library. That's not where that goes. It goes in this little thing. There we go. And those are the only tarot things that I do for sure. I do want to do more like smaller spreads, maybe like once a month, and that's what the journal is for, but I've been very inconsistent with that. So hopefully 2025 I can get back into that. Wendy is alive and mostly healthy. I'm glad to hear that. And JK is working on chapter 2 of Project Sugar and Spice, planning to self-pub the book this year, as it'll be a companion novel to my first book, Culinary Confessions. That's so exciting that you're going to put it out this year. I had publishing plans for this year, and then the last couple of months of 2024 were absolutely terrible. So those plans are no longer in effect. And instead, I'm kind of just going with the flow. I don't want to plan things out too far ahead. I am more in the mindset of this is what's on my plate right now. I'm going to get through this. And once I'm like at the end or like nearing the end of whatever thing I'm working on, then I'll be like, okay, what's my next step moving forward? So definitely taking a more lax approach to things this year. And CJ is here. Hello. Editing/rewriting today. How are y'all doing? I am okay. This weekend has not been great, but you know, it's the weekend. Sometimes your body is just like, you gotta chill. So, that's what I'm doing. Hopefully this week I can get more done. Yes, I have many a journal. My tarot journal I started January 1st, 2023. So it's been 2 years and I've used this much of it. And I have this much left to go. So you can see why I want to do more tarot work. I made a new Ko-fi goal to self-pub the book this year, so fingers crossed I meet that goal. Yeah, hopefully 2025 treats all of us very well. I'm rooting for everyone this year. Not that I don't every year, like I always want all of my friends to succeed, but you know what I mean. Wendy says, I don't think I'm fast enough to publish my romance this year, but I'm going to aim for having it ready at least. Fair enough. I always feel like I jinx myself when I make any hard goals with my writing. For example, finish my rough draft, start my first edit, etc. That's fair. I started this draft. So, okay, 2024, 2 different drafts I started and then had to stop because it just wasn't working and I was running myself ragged trying to make it work when it wasn't. So that was Space Dragons and the first book in Roll for Romance. 2 books that I absolutely adore and I want to return to. They just weren't working in the moment. So I had to pause that. I had a couple of books where I got feedback on them and they are in a lot rougher shape than I thought, and I just was not ready to tackle all of that. I had a huge writing slump in November, so then this year I was like, you know what? We're going to start fresh with something. So in December, I did all of the brainstorming and outlining for my new adult horror, which is called The Last Train from Salvation, but I just call it Salvation because that's a lot shorter. And I was like, we're going to start drafting at the beginning of the year, and we're just going to see how it goes. And we're not going to make any plans beyond that. And if it takes me a month, then it takes me a month. If it takes me 2 or 3 months, then it takes me 2 or 3 months. We're just going to take things easy. And yes, rest is a very important part of productivity. The adventure of publishing is something I need to learn more about first, though. Well, I can't say I'm an expert in self publishing. I very much am not. But if you have questions, I'm always happy to answer them. I I have been thinking about switching up publishing stuff. Not anything major, but just like different approaches with like marketing and things and like a different cover style. So I don't know. I've been looking into exploring stuff. Been watching a lot of videos on other people and how they go about exploring being a self-published author. So, this is going to be a year of exploration and learning. Ugh. I think we should get going on sprint number 2 because I am tired of hearing myself talk, if I'm being honest. So, we're going to, if I remember to click the buttons, yeah, pull that back up, and we'll get going on the sprint. I will see you in another 44 minutes and 44 seconds. Okay, friends, that was the end of our second sprint. Let me know how that went for you guys. I see we did have a new friend join us. Hello, Elena. Welcome. Feel free to let us know what you got going on tonight. Or maybe not tonight. I don't know what time zone you're in. It's night for me. It's almost 8 p.m. And that sprint, I finished doing my bullet journaling for the night. Well, excuse me. I made my to-do list for tomorrow, all that jazz. And then I decided to try and find my next book to read. Madison says me watching something else and suddenly being like, wow, they sound so much like Mars. Yeah, crazy how that happens. Yeah, I wanted to find a book to read. And I wanted something that wasn't fantasy because I have so many fantasy reads. I have 4 more books on my like official TBR and they're all fantasy. Um so I was like maybe something else. So I was like, you know what sounds fun? Horror. Something dark, some gruesome. And I went through all my options and I settled on This Is Not a Test by Courtney Summers. I read Sadie by this author like a month and a half ago, I want to say. I think it was the end of November, and I really enjoyed that. So when I saw that, I was like, yeah, I'll give another book of hers a try. And then I promptly didn't start reading it, and instead, for the second half of that sprint, I've just been watching K-pop videos on YouTube. So that's where I'm at. Oh, Wendy started dinner and wrote some words. Nice. And CJ says, so pleased with how my rewrites are going. Been a long time since that's happened. I love that for you. Nothing is better than when you're doing something and, like, you can feel pride in yourself for how it's going. That's amazing. I'm so happy for you. That was me this past week with drafting. I feel like my first few days of drafting this book went so well. And then this weekend was kind of a dip. But you know what? It's fine. Tomorrow is a fresh start. So tomorrow I tentatively have plans to see the new Nosferatu movie. And I'm so excited. The only issue is that it's also supposed to snow. And if it snows too bad, we can't go. So hopefully it's fine and I get to see my movie. I haven't been to the movies, like going to see something in theater. I think the last thing I saw was the Barbie movie. So like a year and a half ago. Dang. Did I not go to the movies at all last year? No, I think the only new release I saw was Lisa Frankenstein and I waited until that was online. Wild. Yeah. I've never really been one to go to the movies often, maybe like once or twice a year tops. But yeah, it has been a hot minute, so I'm excited. Also, I'm just excited for Nosferatu because I, as we've established, love horror, which I'm a little bit surprised that my boyfriend agreed to go because it was his bike friends that invited us along, and he's not a huge horror fan, but he was like, "Hey, you want to go?" And I'm like, "Yeah, obviously I want to go." So that's hopefully happening tomorrow night. It's too spendy now. I'd love to go to the movies more, but I can't swing that. Yeah, honestly, that's very fair. I feel the same way. You go to the movies and the ticket is so expensive, and then they expect you to spend like $10 on a small popcorn. Like, no. But my boyfriend's paying for this one, so I'm okay spending his money. And Susan, hello. I don't think we said hello to you. But welcome. Went to see Twisters over the summer. Before that, it had been years. I have not even seen the first Twister, which I feel like is a crime, and I need to remedy that. But yeah, I feel like the movies, like going to the movies as a whole, has been on the decline. If I had the money, I would love to go more often because I just I like the experience of going to the movies most of the time. Sometimes they put it too loud and that bothers me, but besides that, I like the idea of a movie theater. It's just so fun. Well, next week. No, I lied. I'm not streaming next week. Yeah, I guess I can tell you guys that. I'm not going to be streaming next week because I'm going to a hockey game again with my boyfriend and some of his bike friends. We're going to a um, PWHL game, the Professional Women's Hockey League. I don't even know who's playing. That's embarrassing that I don't even know who I'm going to see. I think it's the New York team. I'm assuming because we're going in. We're going to Newark for it. When am I going? What day is that? The 12th. Yes, it is in fact the New York Sirens versus the Toronto Scepters. Is that their name? The Scepters? Interesting. Yeah, there's not a lot of teams, so but I guess I am rooting for New York, even though they're playing in New Jersey, as if New Jersey needed another New York team coming and using our stadiums, but it gives me an excuse to wear my New Jersey Devils hoodie that I never get to wear because I live in Philly and people in Philly do not like the Devils. But yeah, I won't be streaming next Sunday, but Sunday after. It also may have finished editing both the videos. Nice, very efficient. I feel like so fast. But I will be set for the How to Train Your Dragon live action. Do you want to know something? I have only seen the second How to Train Your Dragon movie. I've never seen the first one. I don't know how many there are, but any after two I've never seen. I saw the second How to Train Your Dragon movie in 2016 in my AP physics class, my senior year of high school. And that's the only How to Train Your Dragon I've seen. I haven't seen the show, I've never read the books, nothing. Just the second movie, which is so funny to me. Which you would think that I would be all over that because dragons and also major disability rep. But I don't know, I've just never seen the other ones. I only go to the movies on Tuesdays when it's $5 per ticket and I sneak in food. Very smart. One time, my friend and I went to go see, I think it was like the second Deadpool movie. It was myself, my friend, and her sister. And we're just sitting there, and she goes, "Hey, you want some cookies?" And we're like, "What?" And she pulled out an entire platter of cookies because she had a tote bag that she brought in. And she had like a platter that she put saran wrap around, just with an assortment of cookies. And so we were just eating that during the movie. Excitement for live action How to Train Your Dragon. There are 3 movies, but only watch the first one if you want to cry for literally an entire film. The third one. But only watch the first one unless you want to cry for literally an entire movie. Listen, man, I like crying. That sounds weird. I like when things have an effect on me. I cry at like books and stuff all the time. Like my friend and I are both we're not like buddy reading the Percy Jackson series, but like we've been reading it kind of at the same time. And every time I get to something that makes me cry, I text him and he's like, "Wow, I can't remember the last time I cried at like a book or a movie or something." And meanwhile, I'm crying like 5 times a book. But Percy Jackson, like, that's understandable for me to cry a bunch. That series means a lot to me, but yeah, I would probably cry at the first movie anyway, the second I saw Toothless, if I'm being entirely honest. Would highly recommend the audiobook to the books because they're narrated by David Tennant. Ooh. I do have plans this week to finally get a library card. I've lived in Philly for a year and a half, and I have yet to get my Philly library card. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it, and we're going to start a new era of reading for me. And I bet the Philly library system has the audiobooks, so I don't need more series. Hold up. I do not need to start more series. I need to pump the brakes here. I am in the middle of so many, but I do plan on tentatively finishing some. I'm hoping, Madison, since you're here, I can talk about this and you will understand. Yeah, no new series. I'm hoping to potentially do my Rebecca Ross Part 2 vlog this month, at the end of the month. Um, so, for those who don't know, in December, I did a vlog where I read the first book in 3 of Rebecca Ross's duologies. I think they're her only duologies. I think she has 3 of them, and then she has 2 standalones from my research. But I did the first book in each of the duologies, and that's how I found Divine Rivals as my favorite book of the year. But I wanted to do a part 2 to that vlog where I finish out those duologies. And I'm hoping to squeeze that in this month, which would be finishing 3 series. And like if I finish 3 series, then like I could start another one, right? Right? But yeah, that also ties into my wanting to read something that isn't fantasy, because I have 4 fantasy books on my TBR. I have The Magicians by Lev Grossman. I'm looking over at my physical TBR. I have The Wild Huntress by Emily Lloyd Jones, Bitter Blue by Kristen Kishore, and I have A Day of Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon. So, some big fantasy books. And then I also want to read 3 more fantasy books to finish out my Rebecca Ross duologies. I love fantasy, but that feels like a bit much even to me. So we're going to try and squeeze in a few other genres if possible. Ooh, that's one of the standalones, isn't it? So that would not be in this vlog, but eventually, because I do really love Rebecca Ross's books. I did not like The Queen's Rising, I will say. The Queen's Rising, I'm sorry if you enjoy it, but to me it was very bland. There was nothing wrong with it, but there also just was nothing going for it, according to my tastes. But River Enchanted and Divine Rivals I really enjoyed. So, I'm still going to read the sequel to... I just said the name of the book, The Queen's Rising, but I was not a huge fan. I thought it was very middle of the road. There's big fantasy books, and then there's A Day of Fallen Night. Yeah, Day of Fallen Night is 800. I'm just gonna pull this over here. Can you see my book cart? Can I pull it? Oh, I can pull it into frame. You can see little Alistair and also my friend's Christmas gift that I've yet to give to her. But we have A Day of Fallen Night, which is 850 something pages. If I get past the bonus stuff at the end. 846 pages. Bitter Blue, which will be a reread for me, and it's also middle grade, so not middle grade, YA, but like lower YA. And it is 539, so she's chunky. We have Emily Lloyd Jones' latest release, The Wild Huntress. My lighting sucks in here. I'm sorry, guys. This is set in the same world as The Bone Houses, which, as we all know, is my favorite book of all time, and I will never not talk about it. This is 417 pages, but I'm going to fly through this because Emily Lloyd Jones is like, she's a really quick read for me. All of her books have been so far. Not that I've read more than 2, but you know, it's fine. Although this is thicker than The Bone Houses and what's her other book called? The Drowned Woods. I can't believe I forgot about the name of the book. But yeah, this is set in the same world as those 2, and I'm so freaking excited. And then we have The Magicians by Lev Grossman, which I have in this awful Netflix tie-in cover. Actually, it's not awful. I don't mind this one. As far as books with people on the cover go, I don't hate this one. But this one is 401 pages, so... Oh my gosh, why am I doing this to myself? I have so many books to read. And then the book I decided that I'm going to read next, the horror book to cleanse my palate, is about 300 pages. So... It's only the 5th. I have time. That's so many books, but like I have time. I can fit all this in. Yeah, The Queen's Rising was first, so it's not the greatest. Yeah, I did know that that was her debut. And like I said, it's not bad. It just didn't do it for me. I don't know what the woe was about, but it's very funny. I'm imagining little Grogu saying, "Whoa!" And also, "Bye, enjoy your food." Yes. I picked up the Bone Houses on a whim a few years ago. I read it for the first time in 2021, and it's my favorite book of all time. Like, it is number one, undisputed. I'm obsessed with that book. I read it every September as a birthday gift to myself because my birthday is in September and I read it for the first time in September. So I've read it 3 times now. And or has it been 4? No, it's been 4 times because I first read it in 2021. And I've read The Drowned Woods twice. I read it in 2022 and then last year in 2024. And now I have her new book. I'm so excited. I have not read any of her other stuff. I know she's got like a couple of middle grades, and I would love to check them out. I just have not really made it a priority. Yeah, I picked it up because A, it has a killer cover, and B, it was on sale at Barnes and Noble. It was one of those like buy one get one 50% off at the time, and I read the back and I'm like, zombies, disability rep, sibling dynamics, an exploration of grief. What more could I ask for in a book? Like, genuinely, I couldn't ask for any more than what it is. Maybe if it was queer. But I mean, like, there is a queer character. He's just a very minor side character. He's not a minor side character, but, like, he's a side character. Like, genuinely, it hits all of my favorite things. The only, like, major thing that I love in books that the Bone Houses doesn't hit is academic setting. Like, genuinely, it has everything else that I love about books. So there's no surprise that it is just the perfect book for me. Yeah, the cover is absolutely stunning. And the cover for The Drowned Woods and The Wild Huntress are also gorgeous. I am a little bit like, not upset, upset's not the right word, but I have the Bone Houses in paperback, and then I have The Drowned Woods and The Wild Huntress in hardcover because I bought them as soon as they came out, and for some reason, hardcovers come out first and then paperbacks come out like a year later, and I'm so mad about that. Like, just release them at the same time, please. It's genuinely one of my least favorite things about the publishing industry of today is the fact that we get different formats at different times. Like, audiobooks, I understand, take a lot of effort to put together. I mean, any book takes a lot of effort to put together, but like audiobooks are their own separate thing. Like, I understand those having a later release date. But like, release the hardcover and paperback at the same time, please. That's my rant for the day. But also, I'm not going to buy the Bone Houses in hardcover. Like, I'm keeping my paperback because like it's the one that I originally read is the one that I've now read 4 times, and I've annotated it. I've highlighted different quotes. I haven't like written in the margins or anything, but maybe on my next read because it'll be my 5th read. That's crazy. I don't know how long this reading every year is going to keep up. Maybe one year there'll be a time when I don't want to reread it, but I haven't gotten to that yet. So come September, catch me putting the Bone Houses on my TBR again. Agree, I'm a paperback girly, and I hate waiting for paperback copies. Yeah. I don't know if I would consider myself a paperback girly. I'm pretty split. Like, I don't mind paperbacks versus hardcovers. I do think I own more paperbacks, though. Although maybe not, because a lot of my long series I have in hardcover, like all of my Rick Riordan and all of my John Flanagan, all my Lemony Snicket, those are all hardcover. Looking at my shelf now, maybe it is more hardcover than paperback. I don't know. I plan on reorganizing my books this week, so maybe while I do that, I'll get a tally of my hardcover versus paperback statistics. I think that'd be interesting to know. Okay. I think it's time for the next sprint, you guys. So we're gonna scroll back, pull it up. We got one more sprint. Will I start my next read in the sprint, or will I continue to watch K-pop videos? We'll have to find out at the end. So I am gonna press play, and I'll see you guys on the other side of these bees. Okay, friends, that was the end of our last sprint. We finished. Got 5 minutes till 9. Get a little bit of chatting done if you want. I did not read. I did watch more K-pop videos, and then I was like, okay, I should do something other than watch K-pop videos. So then I put on non-K-pop music and just went through like scrolling Tumblr a bunch. Then I switched to Instagram, and then I went back to Tumblr. My stupid pen cup is not organized, and it's distracting me. I'll fix that later. My day list right now is glamorous post-punk revival Sunday evening. It's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. It's got The Vaccines, Two Door Cinema Club, Vampire Weekend, Group Love, Young the Giant, The Shins, The Wombats. Dang, this is a real good playlist. I'm gonna continue listening to this after the stream is done. Yeah, that's how I spend my time. I also texted a friend a little bit. And Wendy got 507 words I wouldn't have gotten without the stream, so thank you very much. You are welcome very much. I'm glad that we could be productive here. And by we, I mean you, because it wasn't me. Susan acquired dinner. Nice. Always a good time. That is a good playlist. Yeah. I don't use Spotify all that often. Like, I feel like when the Spotify Wrapped comes out and everyone's always like, I listen to this many minutes of music, and mine is like a tenth of the number of minutes, but it's because whenever, like, my boyfriend has his phone hooked up to the car because it's his car, he's the one that drives. So if we're in the car, we're listening to his Spotify account, even if I'm the one who picks the music. So I just don't really use Spotify super often, so I don't know what data it's pulling from to give me my day lists. Sometimes they're really weird, and I'm like, I don't know a single band on this playlist, but sometimes they're pretty dang good. Maeve got caught up with some friends and read some manga. Wow, I can read, guys. I made it a priority, or I'm planning to make it a priority this year to get back into manga, because I just have barely read manga in the past year. I was real good at the beginning of the year of like reading whole series and everything, and then of course Chainsaw Man I'm reading as the volumes come out, which I think another one is coming out this month. I gotta check on that. But like I just haven't read a lot of manga recently. And I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read Bungo Stray Dogs, because I'm so close to finishing the anime. I've got like 6 episodes left of season 5, and then that's all that's out because they caught up with the manga. And it's so good. Like, the first couple of seasons I thought were okay. And then season 3, I'm like, okay, this is definitely getting better. Season 4, 10 out of 10 perfection. I'm obsessed with season 4 of Bungo Stray Dogs. Season 5, we're taking a bit of a weird turn, but I'm still really enjoying it. So I'm like, I should read the manga. So that's one that I want to check out. There are a couple of other series that I've been meaning to check out for years that, like, this year I'm going to make it a priority. So we'll see if that actually pans out the way I'm hoping it does. This is true. Rest and music listening can be productive. It's very true. This weekend has been a weekend of my body being like, you're gonna chill. So this has been a chill weekend, and I'm trying to be okay with it. I'm pretty sure I read less than 30 volumes of manga last year. It was a book year for me. Yeah, same. I definitely read a lot more books than usual and fewer manga. So I really like binging manga series. So I think I want to do several of those throughout the year. And then Chainsaw Man I read when they come out. Sakamoto Days, I read the first several volumes, and then I'm like not caught up at all, but it's still ongoing, so I might catch up to be able to read those as they come out. And then Bungo Stray Dogs is still ongoing, so if I read that, I could catch up to when the volumes release. We'll have to see. But alright, friends, it is now 9 p.m., at least where I am. I don't know what time zones y'all are in. I'm pretty sure Wendy's on the West Coast. Yeah, we are going to get going. Let me make this. Yes. There we go. Now I can actually see what buttons I'm pressing. Okay, I'm glad I remember things correctly. And for Maeve, it's 7 p.m. Okay. I'm probably not going to remember that, but that's fine. Yeah, thank y'all for hanging out. Like I said, no stream next Sunday, but we will return on, what date is that? The 19th. We'll be back here for Sunday night streams on the 19th. Hopefully, I'll see y'all then. If not, I'll see you eventually at some point. But yeah, I'm gonna press all the buttons. Where is my outro? There it is. Bye!